Get ready for an uplifting experience with Coached Soul. Join us as we bring you the dynamic duo of Steve Hudgens, a licensed professional counselor, and Kenya Evelyn, a transformational leadership coach. Together, they'll guide you through engaging episodes filled with valuable insights and actionable tips on mental health, relationships, self-care, emotional well-being, and personal growth. Coached Soul is your go-to podcast for empowering discussions that will help you thrive. So let's get started and welcome our hosts, Steve and Kenya.
All right, it's we're back, and it's lost for words, I guess, because of the last session podcast we talked about is language. And oftentimes, how much does language get us into trouble?
Oof. All the time.
And
he said that. She said that. He said, she said.
You must have been sitting as a fly on my wall in my counseling sessions this week, because that's what I would hear. They point their fingers, and I'm like, guys, do you not listen to what you're sharing with each other? It's like two kids on a playground arguing. Well,
right?
He started it. Well, no, you started it. No. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We're throwing each other underneath the bus. Where's the love for one another? So what do you think about the he, she, said type moments? Is that really accountability that needs to be there for that individual to heal?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question the way I'm hearing.
Sure.
And I'm bringing myself back to the beginning of my marriage. And even when I was dating, I had no idea what I wanted. I just knew how I wanted to feel. Because I wasn't feeling the way I thought I would feel in the presence of a boyfriend, a fiance. Actually, never with a fiance. My engagement time was amazing. But with my husband, I got defensive. But you said this, and he goes, you said that. The next thing I know, it's like we're both toddlers, right?
It's like throwing shaving cream of words at each other.
Yeah, it's my experience of being in that position and my experience observing my clients in that position is that it is survival. It is resistance from both sides. It is actually anger, a lot of anger, expectations not met, and no one wanting to take ownership. It was his fault. It was her fault.
And that taps into the wounds that we've had, that we were
100%
in the past. Men are taught that one language of anger, because we're not supposed to have emotions. You're supposed to suck it up. And so the only comeback would be, well, if you wouldn't have done this. And I think one of the comments, when you think about he, she said, was that, okay, Kenya, let's just flush this out for a moment. What is it behind most women that like to hold on to the past about, well, you did this?
I don't think nobody likes it. No, it's not a matter of liking it. It's a matter of there is a unconscious expectation. Okay, let me preframe my experience. I'm not speaking this as truth. I'm saying as my truth. My experience has been women crave her man, the protector. There's a female, like a God-given feel that we want to do the exhale. In our man's arm, we want to feel safe, protected, cared, provided. And it's a God-given feeling. When you are in a relationship that your man is also trying to heal, but we don't know that.
Right.
We just thought that the warrior, the knight, the hero was there. And it's completely subconscious. Ladies, please, don't flood the comments. I never thought that. It's a subconscious program. Like, I actually remember my grandmother telling my mom telling me, and it's like, I hope you have better luck than I had. Have someone that really takes care of you. I hope da, 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 da." Like all that expectation that I personally didn't have was put it upon me on an ancestry level. So I wanted
Mm,
to be kind to yourself, because what I am sharing with Steve is not, he said, she said, you're right, you're wrong. No, we're all in this together.
right.
Do you even know if your mate is also trying to heal from the feminine, from the abusive feminine? Do you even know that? Right? Your man can only be the man that his little boy allows him to be.
That's interesting how you share that, right? Because it's men also don't want to have our noses rubbed into the wrongs that we've been done. And so when it comes across to the mudslinging, well, you said this, you hurt me in this. Okay, I recognize that I've hurt. But at the same time, it's how can we work together as a couple and stop the he, she said
Yes.
and start recognizing it. It's like one tool that I give couples is what I call a stoplight. We go to an intersection in our car and we should stop, right? Yellow means that we're supposed to slow down and green is go. And so one of the things I say in a relationship is the same way. Hey, babe, I woke up this morning. I may have a headache and I don't feel so good. I may snap at you. Okay, there's that caution light. But we don't put the reality of our conversations in that. And I believe that's where we get hurt because we have that faith in our companion. They're not going to hurt us.
And you know what? Yes. And I'm feeling called to really go deeper into the masculine and healing. I have such a heart for men. Man, I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, I'm talking to you, Steve, in front of me. And never mind, I'm getting emotional because women is allowed to break down.
Mm,
And when I see a woman breaking down, I would not go hug her immediately. Now I learned. The previous version of me would say, come here. But now I know to respect her space, to notice if she wants to be witnessed or if she wants to be touched.
right.
But man will not break down in public or in private because he doesn't have permission to be weak.
Mm,
He doesn't have permission to it's not even to be weak. I want to rephrase what I just said, to process his feelings, because society says that you just gotta shake it off, take a shower, and do it again better, bigger and better, because you're the man. And I want to humanize the man back to being a human. Men have all the feelings. I'm raising two boys, y'all, 14 and 12, about to be 13, so two teenagers. And I'm watching these things that I have never said in the house, but they already have it. No, mom, men don't cry. I'm fine. No, honey, I see you're hurt. They play baseball. I see you're bruised. Let me rub something. I'm fine. I have thick skin. I'm fine. I'm a man. I was like, no, you are a human and I have tools for your bruise. So get your bottom here. But society has it in a way that men is supposed to carry everything and then feel somehow in the space of feminism that women has just as much XYZ, which I want to talk about the XYZ. If the XYZ is potential, we do. If the XYZ is energy, we don't.
mm.
No, we don't. We have different amount of energy. Our energy is created for nurturing others and ourselves first. Is not to carry the weight of the world. The amount of women that comes to me overly stressed, overwhelmed, because she's putting her energetics in different spot like a man.
It's
So
interesting.
yeah, clearly this is a bigger conversation than just this podcast, but as we're talking about communication, he said, I want to offer my beautiful women right there to take a big deep breath, ground yourself, and offer your mate, your friend, your son, your husband, your boyfriend, the gift of witness him where he's at. Because the odds are he probably has never been witnessed.
I'm glad you said that. And because I think that if the he, she said would take away, if that would
Yeah.
just stop, right?
Yeah.
And some healing can begin. I mean, I was working with a couple and, you know, he was just beside himself because she wanted to separate.
Mhm.
And he's breaking down on my couch and crying. Now you're talking about a combat
Wow.
army veteran, okay?
Wow.
Spent several years in Afghanistan, Iraq, in those battles, right? And you think, okay, here's this military man, this gruff man that should, but no, he's grabbing for tissues and crying and breaking down. And she's like, why now? I haven't seen this before.
Wow. Because he felt safe.
He felt safe.
That's right.
So the blaming of he, she said, how does that help people to feel safe in our conversations? I get that we're hurt and we want to,
Honestly, I have never met a he said, she said that was actually in the present moment.
right.
It's recycling from the past. Maybe it is a 20-year, 25, a 30-year relationship that the girl is just fed up. And if that's the case, I'm sure she will give me or you or anybody a laundry list of the reasons why, blah, 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 blah. My question for my beloved listeners is, what do you really want? Do you want healing for you and your marriage? Or do you want to be right in your laundry list? Because I know that if you want to be right, you have all this evidence collected over a lifetime. I got you, and I believe you. What I am saying is it's a co-creation.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the freedom to allow, you know, to be you, but to reduce the he, she said is also how do we encourage, how do we uplift one
Yes.
another?
And I also wanted to close the loop of the male here
Mhm.
and saying this only applies if that is not an abusive male relationship. It is,
Right.
I am not talking about witness your narcissistic husband and offer him tissue. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying two humans that chose each other last year or 20 years ago. What do you really want? Do you want to grow together and actually reset? And I don't know how, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're not talking how, we're not in the bridge of the helmet. Talk about the decision of this moment. Like, what do you want? What's the intention? Do you want to vent? Perfect. Let's have, how many sessions do you want to vent?
Right. You know,
Because at some point we're going to make progress, right?
well, the thing about it, I look at in this process too, Kenya, is being able to learn how to be vulnerable with each other.
Yes.
And I think that narcissistic labels have been overused to a
Correct.
degree that, oh, men are just
Yes.
narcissistic. Well, wait a minute,
Yes.
there's a difference. I've seen men who are narcissistic
Correct.
that won't change the behavior. Do I see men that have tendencies to be narcissistic? Yes, only because it's the wounds that they carry within themselves
100%.
that
And
they don't know how.
I also want to say that this is a human, not a male or female. Those are human traits.
Correct. So true.
So please be kind. When we tend to be upset, frustrated, overwhelmed, all the things, the temptation is to look outside and blame and to see yourself as not able. The invitation today, dear listeners, is to know that able is who you are. You're 100% able in your essence, in your core, in your being, in your guidance. I have seen over and over again when a woman changes her heart, her entire family changes.
Same thing with a man.
I
When
can
his
only
turn
speak for
changes,
women because I'm a woman.
right. And I'll speak from the man perspective. That's what makes Coach Soul so great, is that we try to bring a different perspective, something that's not out there. With you have two different ideas of therapy and therapeutic transformation,
Tools, sure.
and it's that combination that we can bring to the table for you as a listener to make a choice for yourself. Do I want to stay where I want to be, or use the tools of where I can rise and go beyond?
Beautifully said. And listeners, I speak a lot about tools and community. Let this be your community. Like
Hmm.
truly, just say, oh, you don't understand. We're like, we don't have but $10. I can't afford blah, 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 blah. All this language and I can't afford. We can talk about money mindset another time. Here's my point. Let Coach It So be your community. Let us be your voice. Let us be the encouragement and the mirror a possibility that you could dare to wear and
Hmm.
see how it fits. What if my most important sentence is what if? What if? What if it's possible to heal? What if it's possible to communicate? What if it's possible to love? What if it's possible to receive all my doers out there? I give, 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 give. What if it's possible to actually retrace and allow to receive? Because you don't
Right.
understand, he doesn't. Da, 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 da. Okay, does that mean that you then take control and do it yourself?
Mm.
Because I wonder if you wouldn't take control of it yourself, maybe he will show up. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know your, but play with it. Or maybe you're in expectation mode and you're like, he needs to do it because he created, blah, blah, blah. So you're actually not taking control as a leader. So maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you show up different, do something different, and say something different. Or maybe your language is silence.
Sometimes in that moment of the he, she said needs to be a hug. There needs to be human touch, because that to me is what reads the loudest, is comfort.
Correct.
How do we comfort one another? How do we calm? It's like it's the salve to the cracked skin. You use cat balm to kind of reduce the cracked skin. And I think of our words and such, we crack on the inside.
Yeah.
Can we allow ourselves to be able to use some kind of salve to help heal this hurt and this wound? But a lot of it is the transformational of the mind, is the transformational of the spirit. Yeah, we all want to say, well, we've been slighted, we've been hurt. Okay.
Mm.
What justice does it do to talk bad about that other person? What justice does it serve? To me, it just brings you down to that person's level. And so we're so much more than what we are. And so let our words with one another to be as such of I love the movie Avatar, because I love the
Yes.
phrase "I see you,"
I see you.
and
Let
it's
our
a deeper level.
let our words be what we want to receive.
Hmm.
Let our words to come out like, huh, would I be juiced up? Would I feel loved, accepted, safe if I am hearing that from him or from somebody else?
Right.
Like, let's go back to childhood refrigerator 101. Treat others the way you want to be treated, like basic stuff. It's a principle. Principles don't change.
Hmm.
That's why it's called a principle. What you put it out, you receive. What you put it out, you receive. And if you believe in that truth, then maybe if you're receiving that, maybe you're putting it out resentment.
Mm.
If maybe you're putting it out, I'm done with this. So notice the frequency behind the words. And notice the evidence you have collected to make you right. I'm right. This is what I have over here. I would just take a minute, breathe, and decide what I want. What do I want in this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think it's dead, what if a miracle would occur? Because good things, we believe in miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Would you stay, and how would you stay? How would it be honoring for you to stay? What would needs to happen for you to desire to stay? And then I would go home and generate that.
The thing is to be kind to yourself. Think about, if I'm going to say he said or she said, I need to make sure that it's not about being right. Have I forgiven my own self for the faults that I've caused before even speaking? And throwing the mudslinging back and forth, it doesn't help. It only creates more chaos, more hurt to where we don't feel comfortable now to be around that other person. So take that time of being thoughtful in your words and how you speak to your spouse or your loved ones. And until next time, take care.
So much love.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Coached Soul, where we aim to empower and uplift you on your journey towards personal growth and well-being. Remember, as you navigate through life, you don't have to do it alone. We encourage you to reach out to professionals, seek support from loved ones, and take the time to prioritize your own well-being. Stay tuned for future episodes filled with even more valuable insights and actionable tips. Remember, you have the power to thrive. And with Coached Soul by your side, anything is possible. Until next time, take care, stay empowered, and keep shining your brightest light.